Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this evening's Beyond the News. We are breaking news with the lovely Janine and Meg. First, please join me in welcoming the lovely Janine. Of course, you can find her work at tarotbyjanine.com and also here on the Academy. Janine, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hi there. Hi, everybody. I'm doing good.
Awesome to have you on. And folks, please also join me in welcoming the lovely and talented Meg Moonbeam. You can find her also here on the Academy with the brand new Astrocartography Workshop Part 2, which just launched tonight. You can find her, of course, on the consultation page on Beyond Mystic and at the Crystal Shop here at the scorplingshop.com. Meg, welcome back. How are you?
I'm feeling good. I'm a little bit giddy, so you guys are going to have to don't mind me. I just came from a retreat Jens and I hosted in the wilderness, and I'm feeling really uplifted and rejuvenated, but a little bit like completely out of the loop at the same time. So really happy to be here with you, JC, Janine, and everybody.
So you haven't watched the news at all in the last couple of days, Meg?
Nothing.
Not at
I
all?
had no service, no nothing.
So
Just
you're
the stars and the earth and the animals. That's it.
so you're completely unaware that Mark Carney just resigned today?
No.
Okay.
You never know, JC. You could get me. You never know.
You never know. It could be weird. He did capitulate on that digital services tax with the United States. He had played the hard end of the stick with Trump, and Trump says, "Oh yeah, here's what's going to happen." And of course, Canada put their elbows down just in the last couple of days here. We'll get to that in just a moment. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight on the live interactive show. As you can see, we're giddy from the start, so it's going to be a cool show. Let us know where you guys are watching from this evening. If we have time, of course, we'll take some comments and some questions throughout the show. A couple of things we want to do tonight. It is our last show before we take a little bit of a break here at the Beyond Mystic family. So if you go to the schedule page, you'll notice that this was the last show here tonight. And all of the team is taking a little bit of a vacation here to spend time with their family and friends and to rejuvenate, relax, and maybe recharge a little bit here as we get into the hot summer months and into the fall. And of course, we are going to be looking at this chart again here tonight to kind of map out here what we can expect for July, moving into the summer and then into the fall. We're going to look at it from an astrological point of view, and we're also going to look at it from a tarot point of view this evening. And so we're going to have a coffee side chat with you guys, I guess is the best way to describe it this evening on various topics tonight, not necessarily related to the wars and some of the economic fronts we're fighting right now, but just on a man-to-man, woman-to-woman level right now, how this is going to be affecting us individually, but also collectively here moving into the summer and how best we can navigate all that stuff together. So I hope you guys are strapped in and ready for the ride. I'd like to start by asking Janine maybe to do a first 40,000 foot pull here. And I'm going to ask you to map that out for the whole month of July. What can we expect in terms of energies, perhaps tower card moments, perhaps secrets reveal energies? Janine, what do you see would be the big highlights here for the next coming 30 days?
Okay, I think that needs a 7-card pull.
Sure, let's do that.
Past, present. So a big change from the past where so much was hidden from us. But there's a real creative change in the way they're, doing things here, or the world is going here. With that ace in the now, this is in the past, so much hidden. I feel like a lot less things are going to be hidden going forward. 3 of Swords. I'll have to pull a clarifier on that when we're done here, because the next thing that happens is, this is interesting because swords are thoughts and words, and they're not necessarily literal. Like it's saying that something's going to be hurtful, but it's more hearing about it or speaking about it or the memory of it or the hear tell of it. Okay, so I'm going to have to clarify what it means by that. So there's something hurtful coming, but it's more in words and thoughts, or maybe even information. So, and this also talks about past hurts. So hearing about something that already happened, but it's really hurtful because we just heard about it.
I see.
Interesting.
You had similar cards to that when you and I did the show on the Thursday night last week, and I was asking you about the energies moving into this week. You had the same thing there. We're going to have a little bit of hurt there and some information wise that it's going to be upsetting for people. Keep going.
Okay, so the hidden influence, we've got the Page of Pentacles. So there's certainly something on the financial horizon that looks like a setup for a future direction that's all new. This guy's moving in new directions, but he's the very beginning of. So even if it's something that's been developed in the background, we're just hearing about it. And now we've got the Four of Pentacles. So something to keep in mind. A lot of distractions while all kinds of things are actually going on. So be aware when you're being distracted. And the Eight of Cups. Taking time off, wanting to take time off. A lot of people could really need time away from the news and or away from, I feel like there's a lot of information overload and also information that's so distracting. Like it's confusing because you know something's going on, but they're saying this is, but you think it's that. The comms say it's this, but they're saying that. It's getting confusing. And I had this really interesting download. There was all kinds of headlines and they had the word aliens in them, like illegal aliens and I was like, you know what? They're not talking about people coming across borders. They're coming from out of the galaxy or something. I think they're talking about the other kind of aliens.
Well, they were talking about criminal aliens just the other day when they announced this new alligator Alcatraz. Apparently, Trump is going to make a visit to that tier too. I asked Joe last night about it, and it was news to him. It happened so fast there in Florida. So something is up. They're gearing up for something. And again, like you say, they keep using that word alien in there. Ostensibly referring to illegal aliens here, but there should be more to that. Just like when we decoded a couple of months ago, all of the new money going to Alcatraz and other prisons around the United States, including Gitmo, where Trump said that he was going to lock up the worst of these illegal aliens. We were like, yeah, but which ones? You're deporting all of them. So why do we need to keep them and lock them up here? Something else is coming up around the corner. So keep going there.
Okay, so it's a really good time to take some time off if you can, and just intermittent. Like what I've been doing lately is having a whole morning, maybe looking at news, and then taking the afternoon off. Right. So pick a time and don't stay on there all day or intermittently all day. Maybe take chunks of time just away to yourself to listen for your own intuition. I feel like that's important. This Four of Wands is interesting because it's a big breakthrough card. So it's not really what I was expecting. Like, even though there's going to be really hurtful things, and this card here kind of clarifies a bit more, something's going to be really tough, hurtful, mostly hard to hear. And it's already happened, but maybe for some people they just heard about it. So
it'll be news to them. Yeah,
it's news to them. And I'll pull further clarifiers. But for all in all, it's a breakthrough month where we get to a whole other plateau with how much we know. And we're wiser and more prepared. Right? So it's going to be worth the trouble, whatever this is. Okay, now I'm going to pull one here.
You know, and as you pull the clarifiers too, I just want to remind the audience, yesterday I did an interview with Joe and Richard here on the Wacky Woo, and some people saw it very negative. Although Richard was saying, no, he's actually very optimistic about the future. He did say that there were a little bit of turbulent times ahead of us, but he was also very, very positive on the outlook. And you're confirming that here with your cards too. Like, yes, still some difficult stuff for some portions of the population, but all in all here, we have a breakthrough card at the end of the month, again, suggesting it might be positive. And I just want to reiterate also for the people who are taking this chart and looking at it closely here, the weekly emotional tension values that Cliff High produced. These emotional tension values don't say whether they're positive or negative. It's just off the chart in terms of volume coming out, but we don't know which way they're going to break. We never know until it actually happens. So keep that in mind here if you're fearful of going down into the fear frequency as we're looking at these different news items here today. Perhaps things are not exactly as we think. And even though there's reason to be cautious and there's reason perhaps to fear the worst, as we've seen over the last number of years, there is also reason to be optimistic about all of these things. And I think Janine is echoing that here with that last card on that row. But Janine, go with the clarifier now as also.
Yeah, first clarifier was the Two of Pentacles, so something around the money system. That's one of the things, but whatever it is, it will be upsetting to people who don't see it coming. But I feel like those that already have prepared, they won't have that reaction. So some of the people will be really upset. Others will think, what a breakthrough. Finally, we're getting somewhere.
Right.
Okay, so if you didn't know there was anything wrong with your financial system, whatever the bad news is here, it's already happened, but you just discovered that that's been happening. That could be really hurtful.
Right.
And this card here, I further, because this one indicated maybe more than one thing. So pull another card, because always when you get the Two of Pentacles, you're working with two different factors. So I pulled another one, and this is an alien card. So I really think the alien disclosure is going to be huge, and how much they've kept from us gets disclosed, which has also been done to us in the past. And it could be really painful for people to understand just how much alien stuff the government's known about and didn't tell us about and kept from our, kept us from knowing. It'll probably be a real kick in the gut to people that actually trust the government still.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot to take in. Meg, leave the cards there for now. Janine, we might come back and reference some of them too. I want to look at the astrology behind all of this here. Meg, can you bring up on your side also the slide? Let me just remove these comments to make a little bit more room. Let's bring this one here. There we go. And I think that's going to work. What do you see in terms of alignment? You have the summer here, but specifically also in July as we get into this, that support, or maybe give a little bit more clarity to that first pull from Janine there. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's so cool because everything you said, Janine, totally lines up with the astrology for this month ahead. In particular, it's interesting because this first week of July, on July 4th, happy Independence Day to our American friends and family out there. July 4th, we have exact Venus conjunct the planet Uranus at 29 degrees critical degree of Taurus, which rules money and the financial system. Uranus is at his most unstable position in Taurus, has been there since 2018, conjunct Venus, which is the other thing in astrology that rules money. So this week, going into next week, I think there could be something possibly very destabilizing or shocking. Uranus having to do with the financial system, or even crypto. Uranus has to do with new forms of money, transaction, cryptocurrency. So interesting that you got that, Janine, because actually this week specifically, that is very highlighted. And interesting too, you were feeling the aliens and the ET component, because to me, the biggest thing that's happening in the month of July, astrologically in the Western astrology, is Uranus is entering the sign of Gemini. And this is going to be on Monday, July 7th. We're getting out of Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is going to dip his toes back into Taurus this fall, going into the winter of 2026. But starting on July 7th, going all the way until September 1st, all the outermost planets are in air and fire signs. We have never experienced this in our lives.
And
This
what
is
does that alignment usually call for, though, Meg?
totally fresh new energy.
Okay.
Totally fresh new energy. And I think everybody's visions and timelines that they're getting are valid. But when it comes to the Western astrology, this is not like a total shit show, end of the world situation. This is a lot of darkness coming to the light at this point, with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, but in positive aspects to these outermost planets, including Uranus, which does rule weirdness, shocks, surprises, ETs. So things are about to get even weirder, where I think also, Janine, it makes sense what you're saying about pull back from taking so much of the information in, because it's going to get even weirder. Even our community doesn't know the whole truth of what the heck's really been going on here. So it's going to be weird stuff that for all of us, whether we're normies or more woo-woo people, weird stuff for all of us on all ends, because Uranus is shock, surprises, unpredictability. So, it's hardest to predict with Uranus, who's going to be at critical degrees all month, 0 degrees, 1 degree. So at his strongest expression in Gemini, which rules information, truth, facts. So there's going to be a lot revealed about the world, our history with the trine to Pluto and Aquarius, which has to do with our history. So it's a lot, you guys. And I think that's a really important point to, really try, if it resonates with you, to maybe make a disciplined practice of how much you're taking in, because there may be times where it's overwhelming. And, everybody has their beliefs and their perceptions, and there may be things that are like totally off. Be mindful of who you're taking information in from, because also Uranus has to do with manifestation. And with Uranus going into Gemini, which has to do with our thoughts, our words, we're like master manifestors at this time. It makes me think about the Magician card. So being really mindful, the words you speak, what information you're taking in, because you're actually interjecting that into the quantum field, giving it power, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is going to be trippy month ahead for sure.
I was recording the what's it called, the coffee chat earlier today. Let's see if we can bring it up for the audience members who haven't seen it. If you're part of that group on the Academy, please do go check it out. We're having this conversation about just that, how we don't know yet what we don't know. And even though in this community we feel that we're awake and at the tip of the spear in terms of information, there yet could still be some things that are going to perturb us in our energetic field. And there might be, what I was saying in the show here today is, we might have individually here a lag time before we can come back to our friends and family and be that rock or that stability that they need to navigate all of this too, because we are going to be shook perhaps by some of this information. So I was recommending to them also to take some time off, don't be so attached to the news right now, and to think about how they will um, adjust or navigate to some of those shocks for themselves personally, and so that they can be the people that they need to be for the people around them who need them as support in their lives, right? And I hope this message can translate to you guys watching the show here tonight too. If you're watching the show and you are that person that most of your family looks up to kind of figure out what the hell's happening in this world, they seem disoriented over the last 5 years, you might find yourself also needing a little bit of a break here, or this lag time, so to speak, here, to readjust yourself before you go back out there and be that light that Woo Woo Dude was suggesting we all need to be right now in that show from last night. Can I have you chime in on that, Janine? The part about having this lag time. Now, you and I in the last couple of months, we've been very open with the audience that from time to time, you and I catch each other falling into some of these dread feelings that we don't know where they're coming from. And, we need to support each other and then come back on the show and try to hold a line and hold a frequency for the audience members. And we know that a lot of our audience members are going through that same process too. There's a lot of weird energies. When I talked to Dick Alga, you were on the show 2 weeks ago on the Wacky Woo, he says, yeah, man, he says, somebody's turning up the dial and they're fucking with us, man, with our energy field and all that. So we're all feeling that right now. So to my point about maybe having a lag time with this dreadful or difficult information you had in the spread there, what would you give as advice? Do you want to talk from the heart? Do you want to do a poll on that, on what people need to know about adjusting to that lag time and then becoming that solid rock again for the people in their community? What would you say, Jenny?
Well, I'll start with the story like that just happened the other night. I was awakened really at like maybe 4 a.m. by my cat, Dusty Bum, and he was really agitated. And I thought maybe because I leave the balcony door open to crack, he's quite slender, so he can slide in, and I make sure it can't open any more than that. So I went out and had a look at was he chased in the house by something? And he was growling and hissing at the door, so at the balcony door. So I thought, okay, a critter, I don't know what, followed him up on the balcony, and he's, scared of the thing, right? So I opened the door further and went out, and it became clear it wasn't an animal. It felt like a presence. So the whole house felt surrounded by an energy presence. And, there wasn't a particular thing he was growling at it. I felt right away, I just knew it was something spiritual, but not necessarily positive. Spirit
Right.
world, spirit side, or otherworldly or something. But it was like creeping around the house energetically. So I right away smudged everything. Okay. And the very next day I got so I hadn't, remember I've been doing renos and I'd taken all the gridding down. So I gridded with jasper all over the next day. Like, you got to have your protection fields, whatever they are, just whatever you trust, and do your own thing. I don't think there's rules to it. I don't follow anybody's rules. I just make it up, but I just intend. It's all about intention. Give myself permission and intend to, this is why I'm putting this here, and I'm smudging it the whole time. And I'm just, like I've always been like that. I just assume the position of I'm in charge of myself, right? So I
Yeah.
totally gridded the house again, and I felt way more protected since then. But yeah, that dread energy, that's real, and they've been sending it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Janine. Appreciate that story. Janine, that was last week when you woke up and you didn't sleep all night. We talked to each other in the morning. Was that from
Yeah.
last week? That
No,
story?
this
Was it older?
recent
Yeah.
one was only like 2 nights ago.
Oh, okay. Again. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was talking in that one about gridding, but I hadn't done it yet. Then I just
Gotcha.
went, I got to do this now. So that's
Gotcha.
maybe what you're thinking. Yeah.
Okay. Meg, can I ask you also, without sharing private information of people you read from, you do readings on a day-to-day basis. Are people already dealing with this also too? And are they maybe perturbed or out of sync maybe with some of this bad news, and they're not the usual light that they are in their community? And how are you dealing with that in the readings, Meg?
Mhm. Well, I am noticing overall that most people are saying they're very tired. They're feeling like they're processing a lot for themselves, for their loved ones. I'm hearing that from most people, actually. So I feel like protection, we talk about that a lot
Yeah.
on the channel, but very, very important at this time to be doing kind of like all disciplined forms of protection. I love, Janine, how you brought up the gridding in the home. That's something I love to do too, with the crystals in the corners of the house. I like to wear, crystals every day, even protective essential oils like the Devil's Club. It's called Devil's Club, right, Janine? That one, or cedar wood. I feel like these nasty energies that have been on the planet for a really long time, many of them are being forced to exit right now. At least that's what I feel intuitively. And it's like they're trying to parasitically grasp at whatever they can. And I've been kind of feeling the past few weeks too, just having random moments in my dream time, or also when I'm in between being awake or sleep, kind of like some creepy crawly things trying to get near my field or in my house. And then it is kind of scary at first, but then I just, put the intention, no, right? Like you talk about that, Janine, and I also kind of do the same thing where I'll just go, I'm not having that right now. No, thank you. Leave. You do not have permission to be here. As I'm saying that, I'm feeling something like really intense in my stomach. So I feel a lot of us might be having this theme, and I am noticing it in the readings, actually. So also important, and I know it's really basic stuff, sorry, JC, but just to be making sure like you're spending time in nature, you're doing things that fill up your own cup, because it feels like with July, with Uranus, the planet that in medical astrology rules our nervous system, our brain, the electric circuitry of our body, there could be more of a propensity to, like in medical astrology, for a burnout. If you're an empath giver and you're just giving, you're giving nothing to yourself. And then it's interesting, as you two were talking there, I was kind of feeling and thinking about the transits at the top of my head. Like there may be really weird Uranus information, Pluto and Aquarius, about the archaeology of the ancient worlds, like kind of undeniable stuff coming up that have to do with the aliens, the ETs, of kind of similar with what those Italian, I don't know if they were scientists or who were those guys, JC, that revealed like what's actually going on under the pyramids? That was last month or the month before. What was
Yeah.
that?
I'm not sure if they were Italian, but yeah, you mean the scans underneath that
The
showed the big
sands.
columns? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like there's going to be a lot of that in July, and it's going to be even weirder, and it's going to be even more undeniable. Saturn in Aries. Aries has to do with building, architecture, ancient buildings, in trying to, strong aspects, almost exact to Uranus and Pluto. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of revealing about that, and it's going to be undeniable truths coming forward. So
Fascinating.
for some people, that'd be really freaky. For us, it'll be like, woohoo, that's awesome.
Woohoo!
But
Yeah.
part of that burnout too might be like if our normie friends and families are freaking the fuck out around us and they're
Yeah.
completely being shattered, we need to be in a very grounded space to be able
Right.
to handle.
Well, thank you, both of you, Meg and Janine, for that. What I would add to the audience members is I feel as though what's coming around the corner is exactly what you have been training for all your life. And when I say you, the audience members, you've got the skills already. You've learned how to use your discernment. You've learned how to navigate and go within to get that inner knowing. I think you're going to be challenged at that level. And if you remember that training, you're going to reduce that lag time to almost zero here when stuff comes out that is disturbing. And you're going to be that leader that this community needs you to be here moving forward. So don't fret. You have what you need, but remember that training. Remember all those shows with Janine and Meg and the opening the psychic senses and all that stuff. Like you have what you need. So I think we're almost there. In terms of protection, also, let me bring this up. We have a few gifts to give away tonight. First of all is the new special edition Beyond Mystic EMF hat. These are lined with silver. This is a new product here at ascensionorganites.com. If you use the coupon code Beyond Mystic there, you get 10% off for the hats. But wait, there's more. Yes, happy 4th of July to all of our friends in the United States. Currently, right now, Carla has the 50% discount here on both of the pendants, the Shanghai Sending Raven and Beyond Mystic Special Edition pendants, as well as the Liberty Pyramid itself here. So check it out. That's ascensionorganites.com. And why don't we give away one of these EMF protection hats right now in the live audience? May, do you want to go first? Do you want to ask a question here in the live chat? What do you think?
Sure. What astrological sign is Uranus entering in Western astrology on July 7th?
It was on the screen there. I was giving you the answer. While we wait for that to populate, of course, guys, you can have a reading with Meg here at beyondmystic.net if you hit the consultation page. And she also just brought forward now the long-awaited and highly anticipated part 2 of the astrocartography workshop here on the Academy. Speak about this a little bit here, Meg, while we wait for people to populate the answers here for the prize. Why is this one different than the first one? What can people expect? Do they absolutely need to take the first one to get in level 2? And what the hell is astrocartography for the people who haven't heard about it, Meg?
What the hell is it? Yeah, so astrocartography, this is a form of locational astrology. There's so many layers to astrology, guys. I love it because you can study it your whole life and there's always something new. So astrocartography, this was an astrological method developed by Jim Lewis in the 1970s. So it's a pretty modernized method. And with astrocartography, this is where we have a map of the planetary lines for each of us personally over the world's map. So that never changes. It's based on when we're born. And I kind of guide everybody in the part 1, how to get your astrocartography chart, the basics of astrocartography. And this was actually, JC and Janine, I think it seems like a lot of people took it. It might have been the most taked workshop. I don't know for sure, but I heard so many people saying that they took it and they enjoyed it and they got a lot from it, more than any other workshop I've ever done. So it seems to be a subject that a lot of people are really wanting to go deep into. And it makes sense with the astrology with Pluto and Aquarius, because there's a lot of migration and movement
People
and
moving
huge
around. Yeah.
people moving around. And this is something that, Pluto and Aquarius and Uranus and Gemini is heightened weirdness and shocks and surprises. So we really need to be anchored into places, whether it's for living, for work, or travel, that support us energetically. And the astrocartography can help us with that. So if you haven't taken part in part 1, you're welcome to take part in part 2 live. You can watch the part 1 later if you want. And we're just going to be going deeper. I won't give everything away, but just deeper and deeper into how to best look at your astrocartography, your loved ones as well, families. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it. And it's for best places to live, work, travel, find abundance, love, intensity, transformation. So all the different planetary lines rule different aspects of life. And I'm excited because I'm going to go to Alberta this week for the first time, where where I'm going is exactly on a north node line. So I'm going to, by the time we do the workshop, I'll have the experience of, because I've never been on a north node line, which is like our destiny purpose. Okay, what was that like for me? So it's always fun to look at before you travel what your lines are too.
Fascinating. Guys, if you're interested in that, of course, beyondmistake.academy. If you use the coupon code ASTRO10, it'll give you 10% off. And the live is next Sunday, Janine? Meg?
Yes.
When are you recording the live? It's this Sunday here?
Sunday, July 13th, while we're on vacation.
Perfect. Okay, so you guys still have time to register and join the live here with Meg. So beyondmistake.academy. Let's pick a winner. Meg, let me know when to stop the live feed here and we'll pick a winner.
Okay, stop.
All right, my cursor. Gemini, Lakeside Laura. Lakeside Laura, cool. Yes, you know how to reach me. Laura, just send me an email and we'll get Carla to send you out one of those caps. And guys, again, if you want to check out all of those amazing specials here, go to ascensionorganize.com and look for the 4th of the July sale there, the 50% off the Shungite pendants for protection, as well as the Liberty pyramid. So thank you, Carla, for all of those gifts. And guys, stay tuned. We have more gifts to give away at the end of the show here tonight as well. Okay, so Janine, let me get you back on. So on that first poll, the 40,000 foot poll, two things you brought up. You brought up the financial stuff that could be a little bit difficult to go through, or information, or things changing at that level. And you also talked about the alien disclosure stuff. So I want to start with the financial. You and I are going to be recording the WUFI forecast here in the next couple of days for the IAP members. But for the sake of this show tonight, we have now two significant closings, monthly closings in both silver and gold. It just occurred today. People are suggesting that we just might now be at the beginning of a hell of a bull run for both of those two precious metals. We're seeing more and more states now, including Florida and Texas, render gold and silver legal tender for daily purchases. So we're seeing more of that legislation bringing that forward. We're seeing Germany, I think it was Italy and another country this week repatriating their gold from New York as well, suggesting that, hey, they want gold in your own backyard. Something's happening with gold and silver. So let's do a poll right now on the financial system and how gold and silver might be playing a bigger role there than people have been expected. Of course, if you watch the show, you know that that's destiny. But if you watch mainstream news, or your friends are watching mainstream news, they're still being told that these are pet rocks and to not look into them. Although the math says something contrary, and the tarot also says something very contrary to that right now. So where are we on that front, and what type of news can we hear about maybe the breakage of the control mechanisms, who perhaps was in charge of all that, how that ties into some of the adrenochrome networks around the world? What can we hear on the financial system here in the month of July? Janine. Hope you're muted on your side, Janine.
I agree that it's tied into adrenochrome, and even like have baby farms where these babies are birthed with no IDs attached to them and nobody knows. And so they never even knew they existed, and you have been using them for all kinds of things. So I feel like it's absolutely tied to that with these three down the middle. And that's what the public, I feel like, really needs to find out. And I think it is going to happen this summer that they find out about that, like with no way out. Like what I mean by that is they won't be able to avoid it anymore. Okay, your general population. Now, this is around the gold and silver. And it's interesting because I feel like certainly with the silver, I always had the feeling right from the beginning that Trump and the White Hat, so the group that I've been calling Trump and the White Hats, the alliance, they designed it so silver would stay as accessible, I believe, for the general population to get, for those awakening and coming into their own in the woo community, could actually get some wealth under their belt. I've always felt that. And this card, like, I felt like they kept it. They even allowed it to stay suppressed even after it became known, and they were probably freeing a lot of the deep state operations. But I feel like they kept some of them running because they needed people to understand things. Also, it was convenient because a lot of good people could get some wealth under their belt that way, or generational wealth. Because a lot of truthers talk about gold and silver and encourage. I mean, I was first encouraged by yourself, Jean-Claude, and some of the shows you did with Andy Scheckman, et cetera, to go, yeah, I'm going to start collecting some silver, right? And that was the first I'd even thought about stuff like that. So I feel like this card being here, it was all by design, that it was even kept, like we were trying to figure out how is it still being so low when we know it's worth way more. Everybody knew by now, like the last
Right.
4 years, it was still kept, it's doable. It's even still doable today, to get a few pieces of silver. Do you know what I mean? For someone, even if you had a low income. And I feel like that was all by design, but that's about to change here. I do feel like that's going to change. And we're going to move into summer and fall, like in the next 3 months. I feel like we're going to be on a run. But what with gold and silver, but what comes with it is going to be the outing of all of this horrendous stuff, which could have something to do with that 3 of Swords we had in
Right.
there.
Right. Okay. Let's look at Bitcoin also. So first, before I do that, maybe don't move the cards right away, Janine. I'll ask Meg also maybe some astrology here, so we might have to come back to the cards. But just for the reference, so this is what I was talking about: the highest ever monthly and quarterly close for gold. Are you paying attention? Here says Bald Guy Money. So this is big news for the people who follow charts. This just happened today. Same thing with silver, the highest 6-month close in silver in history. Look at that cup and handle formation there. It's the perfect setup for this bull run that everybody's expecting. So on the one hand, we're seeing the technical charts support something happening big in silver and gold, and we're also seeing the tarot cards and spirit telling us about it. But I also wanted to bring in Meg and the astrology. What planet behind this is propelling perhaps this information, this new breath of fresh air into maybe gold and silver and new currencies here, Meg? What would you say adds information here to that pull from an astrological standpoint, Meg?
Well, there's multiple things. What I'm most excited about is the planet Jupiter, which rules abundance, prosperity, and expansion, is currently now in his exalted position of Cancer since June 9th of this year, going to be there until the end of June 2026, and making beautiful aspects to many of the lunations that we have over the next year. So Jupiter in Cancer is an expansion of silver. And we just had our most positive new moon of the year on June 25th, new moon in Cancer, conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. So that denotes that over the next 6-month period, there's going to be a huge rise, expansion until the next full moon in Cancer. That'll be, I think it's on January 3rd or 6th, 2026. By that point, we will have a huge expansion of silver. It's going to just keep happening from now until then. So that's for silver in particular. So yeah, I'm not financial advisor, you guys, but astrologically, it's looking very good for silver over the course of the next 6 months to a year. And in terms of gold as well, I feel like Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto has to do with hidden money, big money. In the sign of Aquarius is freedom of humanity and getting back to our true history, which if you look back through history, gold, silver, things of actual physical value were the real, ways of tender, if you will, if that's the right word. So It feels like we are going back to that instead of this fake money, but it will happen in shocking ways, possibly uncomfortable ways. So I'm very happy that our community is prepared for that for the most part.
Okay, thank you. And again here, don't move the charts, Janine, because I'm just going to flip now to crypto. This is a comment that Trump made the other day. I just want to put it on the record for the audience who haven't seen perhaps the pay-per-views on this. But President Trump was declaring that Bitcoin and crypto is much more important than any other industry. What a time to be alive. Fascinating clip from Trump, again, forecasting something here we don't know, but it seems to be tying here to perhaps even July 4th. Some of the news regarding who could be the new Fed chair also. And much, much more still kind of being decoded here as to what's happening with our country. The fact that Trump erected the 2 flags in Washington, suggesting that perhaps Washington was no longer a city-state and was now being recaptured under a new umbrella, a new constitution. all of this could be just around the corner, even a couple of days from now here in terms of information coming out. Now, again, Meg, let me go back to you and then we'll come back to Janine. From the astrology also, are those same alignments also very conducive to Bitcoin and crypto, generally speaking, here also moving forward? What would you say?
I would say 100%, definitely. Pluto, big money, financial system in Aquarius, which is cryptocurrency, making trines this year to Jupiter expansion. So, sorry, not trines, trines to Uranus, which is the dispositor of Pluto and Aquarius. Yeah, we're going to see. It's interesting right now because it's pretty low, right, JC? Am I correct in that? I haven't been checking up on it.
Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin went down a little bit from the high. It was 110 maybe 2 weeks ago. I think today was at 107. So it has a little bit of a retransmit. There's still some who believe that there might be as much as an 80% drop in Bitcoin. So guys, if you're out there holding Bitcoin, pay attention here. But it could be short-lived and maybe people won't be able to get in on it, but it could be one of those last crashes before we get to that new all-time high. That seems to also be in the cards if you look at Cliff High's webot data, suggesting that Bitcoin could reach very high prices later this summer and into the fall as well. But we might have some weird moments between here and there where nothing makes sense in the financial world simply because all of these pricing mechanisms might be readjusted somehow, or the control levers might be given from one person or one group to another, creating some of these unintended consequences. And that's probably where some of the shock and maybe the tower card moments or the devil cards might come out to play as well. Yeah, go ahead, Mick. Go ahead.
So sorry to interrupt you. I'm just looking at my charts here. A day to watch out for and a time frame to watch out for this summer, you guys, is around the full moon in Aquarius on August 9th. Aquarius rules cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So it's going to be illuminated at that time with Uranus trine Pluto, the rulers of the moon in Aquarius, with Venus conjunct Jupiter, the two benefics that have to do with abundance. So wouldn't be surprised if on August 9th or the days surrounding that full moon in Aquarius, we start to see, what's the right word, JC? Bull run? Is that when it starts getting really big again? We haven't had that for a while, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's fascinating. Janine, do you want to do maybe just two clarifiers here on that poll, but how it relates to crypto itself? Here, you were looking more at gold and silver and some of the news attached to the adrenochrome networks and all that, but crypto, generally speaking here, what do we see?
So that's a truth and integrity. So I think what you guys are saying is full of truths. Okay. And interesting, I think what Trump being sort of in front of it's also like interesting. And it does mark the very end of the old system and the beginning of the new system. I also get that death card as maybe saying whatever crypto was started out as is totally transformed and is now, I feel like, on its way to being, a real usable money system.
Right. And we're seeing now more and more banks, as you recall, in the last couple of years, as we were researching this, we saw banks here in Canada all go through the process to become crypto custodians, to be able to offer that service under the SEC rules and guidelines. Although that has not been enacted yet, those banks have gone through that process. And just in the last 2-3 weeks here in the United States, also, Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan, they're all saying, oh yeah, we're going to let our clients buy Bitcoin now through our platforms. MasterCard also suggested that they would connect directly with some of these exchanges to let their card holders buy crypto through MasterCard. You're talking about $7 billion worth of capacity there. So we're getting very close to that aha moment for the rest of the population who are not still clued into crypto. And imagine just a 1% or a 2% new people coming into the system, how much that could put pressure on prices to the upside. And we're talking also about institutional money and all the legislation now for the insurance companies and all that moving into this. So it's a wild world. Okay. Well, that gives us some good hope, but there's still, you had, I just want to say, and be respectful also to the audience, when we looked at this last month on the WooFi, you said that some people were still going to have some trouble with this financial transition. Maybe they haven't made the proper choices. Maybe they've put their head in the sand for the last number of years. Maybe they're invested very heavily into the old world, not enough into the new world. And there might be some haircuts, so to speak, here in that transition. But on the other end of it, further down the line, it kind of all comes out in a wash, in the sense that we are in a better system that's maybe more fair, but there could still be some people who will have some difficulty here, especially those who are holding on to the past and the old way of doing things. Am I paraphrasing, or is that almost on point there, Jenny, of what you were warning people about last month? Is that okay?
No, we've been getting that steady.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Again, just trying to be responsible here for the audience members. Again, not financial advice. Now, the other aspect we were looking at, if you want to reshuffle, is the alien disclosure stuff. Now, just in the last couple of days, we had some weird anomalies here in Alabama. We had some weird, super fast flying craft that were captured on radar in the UK. And we had this crazy orb also flying around in Miami. On top of that, officialdom came out 2 weeks ago. I think the Pentagon put out a new video of a craft that they had captured, not the Tic Tac craft, but flying saucer this time. And now we also have the UK going into these hearings now to have conversations. The UK government wanting to have these hearings similar to the ones we had in the United States over the last 2 years to discuss here the UFO phenomena. So all of this is in context with, and I have to remind the audience of our reporting last year in the fall for the drone situation in New Jersey, and how that apparently through the webbot, it had been predicted almost to the day from Cliff 6 months prior, by the way, so give him the credit there. But in that webbot data, it also suggested that that was a temporal echo of what was going to happen this July. So that was just like a precursor, giving us a taste of something around the corner. And lo and behold, here we are. All these government agencies in the last week or two are talking about ETs again, and we're seeing more and more visitations or craft or weird anomalies in the sky right now. So let's do a poll for July, Janine, on the ET front. What does that look like? What do we need to know? And Meg, as she's pulling that too, see if there's any more astrology. You mentioned that a little bit at the beginning there with your chart that could be conducive to maybe a false flag, maybe a fake alien invasion, or actually the real stuff coming out, technology coming out. What can we expect from the astrological winds, so to speak? I'll get to you next, but let's look at the cards here first, Janine. Yeah, Arcto says, Clip said that the alien issue was the key to everything else. And it's true, financial system also, and that it would arrive this summer, here in the summer of emergence. Yes, if you go read his last Substack, Cliff was indeed talking about that, and also on his Twitter. Janine, that's interesting.
Yeah, we got a big ace, so it's on the way. And here we've got the Emperor in the middle, and that feels like the banks. So some stressful moments around banks, depending on what bank you're banking with. So I'm not sure all the banks are on board with how things are going to change. And I've also been getting that for years. There was going to be some banks already prepared and other banks not. So we've got the Six of Pentacles here and the Two of Swords. Six of Pentacles being things will work themselves out. So I feel like over time, even if you left everything in cash and didn't go into crypto and didn't go into gold and silver, eventually you'd catch up to people. There's ways put in place, it looks like, that feel like you'll just be behind maybe the 8 ball a little, but you'll be able to catch up financially. There's ways put in place for that. That's what that feels like. And here we've got the 8 of Cups here. So this is advice. Go away from, there's going to be a lot of different people saying different things, even like a lot of fear porn and a lot of doom and gloom when things first really take shape and start changing. So just really try to go into your own intuitive knowing what will work best for you to handle your situation. Like just tell yourself, okay, I plan to do this. Is that going to be a good way to handle it? That's what I do. I just say, okay, here's my idea. And how do I feel about that? And I just really quiet myself and let my higher self, get the feeling if that's going to work or not. And then once I get a real comfortable feeling, I can always tell, right? I do that with all big decisions. And your gut will tell you if you're still wanting for, like, if your plan needs some tweaking.
I'm curious, Janine. I love that what you just said, but I was asking you about ETs, but the cards still want to talk
Oh,
about the financial stuff here for you, which is great.
okay.
It's more clarity. It's absolutely great and more clarity. And you're making that point again too that people are going to have to go within here to choose wisely here, as all of these choices might be presented to them here in this new financial world that is forming around us. If you want to do clarifiers or hold out or pull too on the ET front, what we can expect for July, what do you see there in the clarifiers?
Well, this is the beginning of something card. So this is the
Okay.
beginning of, so a complete takeaway from, so I feel like we've been told a lot of BS about them. Even people that say they know about them, I feel like we're in all new territory, and there's a lot going to be different than even we think we know, or
Mhm.
we've heard from supposed experts on ETs. I feel like it's going to take us in all new territory, and that Wheel of Fortune relates back to, or kind of correlates with Uranus. Okay, so expect the unexpected and tumultuous changes and sudden changes, like karmic and destined. It's karmic and destined that we start finally learning the truth about what our world's really like, what our galaxy's like, if we could call it that. I'm not sure exactly what to call it, but the place we live and what's surrounding us,
Mhm.
and what energetically, what visits, I believe, on the regular. Okay, I feel like we're going to find out so many things that even this community is going to be like mind blown. We just know this, we're just scratching the surface of what to know there on that front, and I think we're going to start it off in July, but there's so much to know. It could take a lot more months than just July to know it all.
Yeah, I can just imagine because that is one hell of a rabbit hole to go into, and there's the good, the bad, and the ugly when we look at that. Meg, let's look at the astrology also here on the ET side of things. Like, where the energy
Mhm.
is pushing us first? Are we going backwards to hear more about, as you mentioned earlier, you were talking about archaeology and learning more about some of these structures on Earth. Are we going to go the same way to go backwards on ET and how perhaps they have manipulated us in the past to now get into the present? Are we going to be looking at maybe the government's trying to either clamp down on the subject matter or create their own false flag in terms of narrative control? What do you see here? Let me just bring up your chart for the audience as well. This one here. What do you see there for the audience members, Jane, Meg?
Yeah, it's interesting as you're saying that, I'm hearing the dam is bursting. All these transits happening at the same time. It's an energetic dam bursting that can't be stopped, where there's so many truths being revealed. Pluto, the planet of revealing and secrets, retrograde, even stronger than he usually is in Aquarius, which rules ETs, UFOs, astrology, space, what's really going on out there, with Uranus now out of fall position in Gemini, in trine to Pluto. So this is so much being revealed on the ET front. It's going to be really trippy. I know I keep saying that, but I agree with you, Janine. It's even farther than what our community knows already. And not to say that people who are experts like aren't experts, because they put so much research and their heart and soul, but it goes even deeper, I think, than what we've been told so far. In terms of a false flag, I do see an astrological potential for that around, let me bring up the chart for this, the new moon in Leo on July 24th. And why I'm saying that is because this is very interesting. So Leo is about fun and partying and celebration, creativity, romance. It's one of the most light signs in astrology. So typically a new moon on Leo is very positive. But this is going to be a total drama show, new moon, because this new moon, 2 degrees Leo, is exactly opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. ETs,
Hmm.
spaceships, things from outer space, technology, weird weapons, weirdness, hidden secret societies, hidden aliens, hidden beings. So this new moon, there's a potential here where, and Leo has to do with the movie, the drama, the play here. Oh my God, look at this video clip of this thing happening over here, everybody, watch out. Like, there is a potential for that. But if I happen to be an astrologer for the dark cabal, I would actually suggest a better time to do a false flag would be November, December of this year. Because, okay, even though that new moon in Leo, it's exact Pluto moon opposition, you've still got all the outermost planets in air and fire. People are really waking up. Saturn and Neptune in Aries, people are grounded. They're seeing through the BS. When we go into late November to December of this year, and also beginning of 2026, last time in our lives, Neptune is in Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces, we've been going through this transit since 2013. This is the brainwashing. This is the mind control. This is the false flag. One of the things that rules false flags. So I feel like if I had to pick, and I could be wrong, I would pick more like, okay, if they are going to do a false flag, I think it would actually be more later in the year when people are more confused again, Pisces, and really tripped out. But there is a potential. They probably will try to do something weird with this new moon in Leo, but I don't see it landing. I see people maybe looking at it, go, okay, whatever. There may be some normies really tripped out, but later this year is where it could be all of us, normies and woo people, looking at a situation going, I don't even know if that's real. I don't know what to make of that. Just confusion kind of thing, Pisces. And that's going to be starting Scorpio season around the new moon in Scorpio on November 20th. So yeah, gonna be a really interesting month. That's for sure. And the year.
I've been watching a new show on TV. Maybe it's an old show. I think there's 4 seasons already out. It's called Resident Alien. So it's this alien that, crashed on Earth and is living in this small Colorado town or whatever. And I actually like it. It's kind of cool. But they're making fun of the blue avians and actually bringing them up. And they go to these UFO conferences and look at these guys. But generally speaking, though, there's a lot in there. And what's her name? Linda Hamilton, who was in Terminator. She's one of those CIA spooks there after the aliens in that show. Anyways, it's a funny show to watch. But I think there's a lot of disclosure in it. I'm just on first season with Sarah, and we're liking it so far. So if you guys want to have a little bit of insight of where the government is going with the narrative, and also have some entertainment, kind of like easy show to get away from some of the news, maybe check that out. Yeah, somebody says I love that show. Have you heard of that show, Meg and Janine? The Resident
I've
Alien?
started watching it last year and I didn't get to finishing it. I liked it. It's cool.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
I'm gonna check it out now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have one more segment to do, and we have a couple of prizes to give away. The next segment is on a lot of people, Janine, are asking us still today on the chat and in TBJ about this idea of maybe a here, perhaps as soon as July 4th. So I'm going to have you start pulling on that, Janine. And while we do that, I'm just going to do a quick promo here for Alien's new product here for the summer. It's called, let me see if I can bring this up, remove this one and add this one. There you go. This is the new Summer Light Alchemy bundle. If you guys know anything about these soaps, they're absolutely amazing. This bundle does not disappoint. Check it out at florininfarm.ca. If you use the coupon code BMSummer there, you'll get 10% off of those. And you can go to her website also and pick crazy amounts of amazing organic artisan soaps here. She includes all of the botanicals and essential oils, just amazing products there. And then is creating, as well as the bath salts. So if you want to relax and remove and clear and protect, the bath salts are also for you. Check it out, florininfarm.ca. I'll give away this Summer Light Alchemy here to the last person in the live chat here, Sister Nobody in my Discord chat. She says, soap. Good for it, Mark. Yes. Okay, so Sister Nobody, you're the winner of the Summer Light Alchemy bundle here. Just send me an email here and I'll have Alien get your coordinates and send that out to you. And guys, yes, please do go check it out at florininfarm.ca. Does it have any legs, Janine, or is this just more fear porn? What do you say?
Well, it looks like they're going to try to put one out there with that ace there. They're going to definitely talk about it, and it's coming from somewhere else. So China, like where's all the usual suspects they talk about, right? So I'm thinking China, but anyway, they're going to say it's from somewhere else or something's developing somewhere else. So they'll make a big deal out of pointing out this big illness that's happening somewhere. And it'll be very disappointing. It's got no legs. Okay, so we've got the world in the background. So everybody's done with that.
Yeah.
Okay, even the normies, they don't even know it yet, but they're done with that. It's just not going to ring true, and nobody's going for it here at all. We've got the Empress in the near future. So many things happening financially all around this, that's another reason why it doesn't have legs. Everybody's looking at the financial situation that's going on and developing, so it overshadows this as well. Okay, and there's also some physical things in the world overshadowing it. So earth things, so natural things, or things that appear natural, weather
Okay.
related, and
So it might be in the cards. They might let it happen or make it to happen, if only
Mhm.
to point back perhaps to the bad actors that were at this during the last 5 years, and maybe another setup for justice later down the pike. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it actually looks like it's not even the good guys doing a false flag on it. It's actually the bad guys got one last little go at kick at the can here,
Right.
but they're absolutely too little, too late, and they just don't. They just don't.
They
Yeah,
don't have the
it's
wherewithal to
too
push it
little,
through
too late to cause the ruckus they want to cause, and it'll be very disappointing at best for the deep state.
for them. Okay. So here on one hand, but at the same time in the astrology, there might be something in terms of the alignments that could be conducive for people to take their health and their that matter into their own hands also. Meg, what do you see there in terms of perhaps alignment that could weaken people's immune system right now, and perhaps things that we could do to improve here, because we are going to be challenged, at least on the spiritual front, on the mental front here with all of this bad news. But what can we do also to address the bodies, and what's the astrology saying also, Meg?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm surprised that it hasn't happened yet, actually, with Saturn and Neptune being in conjunction strong since March of this year. We've now got, if I can just bring up the chart here to show everybody, JC.
Yeah, let me
Uh,
remove mine. There you go.
sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so during this summer, we've got Saturn and Neptune conjunct within a 1-degree orb in Aries. Saturn and Neptune are synonymous with actual, like, we're not talking a BS thing going on here, something actually that is serious going on. So I'm surprised we haven't had that yet. But then at the same time, we do have a lot of medical issues going on. A lot of them are being hidden in sight. There's the revealing of that continuously going on. So yes, the astrology is there for, like, there actually being a health crisis. And I don't like to say that, but just being honest with you guys.
Uh-huh.
And also, Saturn is challenge, granddaddy Saturn, as I like to call him, challenge, heaviness. Whenever he's in conjunction to something, he brings a heaviness and a challenge. Neptune is the medical system, our immunity. It's one of the health planets. So the whole time Saturn and Neptune are within conjunction, which it started very strong within a 5-degree orb in March. This is actually going to be exact February 2026. It's the 19th through the 20th of February 2026. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So 2025, 2026, we've got this strong to where you're asking, JC, what can we do to deal with that? Aries is about the basics. Okay. So Aries is you're moving your body, you're eating good food, you're detoxing the shit out of your system. And JC,
Getting the proper supplements too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're in
Yeah.
Aries, and I love all our Aries that are
Yeah.
just like, you do, if you're not doing the basics, it's common sense. Of course, you're not going to feel well. And especially right now with the Saturn Neptune conjunction. So take your supplements, move your body in the ways that feel good for you. Eat well, nourish yourself. Aries is also about boundaries and being able to say no. So if you're having an issue with boundaries at the moment, if that's something that you really are struggling with and you haven't done well with as an empath light worker, that's absolute priority right now, because it's not just the physical health stuff of our food and our supplements and the water we drink and doing the heavy metal detox and the ivermectin, all that kind of stuff. It's also energetically Aries being able to say, no, here's my boundary, here's what I want. Like, boundary work, I would say, is a very important astrological remedy with this right now, for sure.
Okay, very good. And that ties in because I've been having meetings and prep meetings and production meetings with Dorothy at Pure Bulk, and we're going to be producing a workshop on proper supplementation. And for a lot of people, like they see the C60 on our site and all that, and there's always a lot of questions. Well, can I use this with that? Can I use this with this? And so we're going to get the experts here to kind of chime in and give us the basics. Because right now, a lot of people watching the show are still not on the proper basics. And then you have to add to that, depending on your age group, are you going through menopause, or you're going through this particular ailment and all that. Then you have the other supplementations on top of that. And just with respect to RFK, he's doing a great job now removing the dyes and some of the bad products in our foods, and the industry is slowly moving. But that doesn't remedy the fact that a lot of the nutrients have been processed out of a lot of our food over the last number of decades. So it's really up to us to supplement our bodies and to rebuild those bodies. If any indication, guys, go look at Cliff High, what he's been doing in the last couple of years. That guy looks like 20 years younger already. So there's something to that. And I think maybe hit it on the head here. If the astrology is there and people can open up to this information, and again, becoming the CEO of your own health is one of our themes for 2025. And also it's going to be a theme for the conference in 2026 coming up in Florida. So anyways, I'll be producing that with Dorothy here. Perhaps by the fall, we'll be out with a new video on that for you guys. But in the meantime, if you're interested also, check out the Tasty Clear, the electrolytes. A lot of us are actually dehydrated and don't really know. If you haven't done your own blood tests, I recommend you go do so. You can pay extra dollars and do it through private care here in Canada and also in the States. And really see if you are dehydrated, this could be the product for you. All natural products, and the bioavailability is through the roof compared to the stuff that you'll find on Amazon. So check it out. I've been taking it since the conference because they had those little samples that they gave away. See, this is still the sample. I don't have the logo still on it. But really good stuff. So check it out, purebulk.com. And remember this conversation when we get to the proper supplementation workshop here coming up in the fall. Okay. Thank you for Meg for that. Thank you, Janine, for that. I think what we'll do now is, well, we have another gift to give away, and it's from you, Meg. So let me see if I can bring that up on the screen here. It's this amazing new creation between you and Sunny here this summer. How do you call it? A cosmic alignment astral calendar here for 25 and 26. Yeah. Now, I've been trying to explain that over the last couple of weeks here, giving this away on a prize. And I'm so happy you're here to help me kind of really do it justice, because there's so much information in here, and people ask you all the times. Often people wait 2, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to get a booking with you. There's a lot of information that they can use here for themselves on this calendar to plot kind of their course, their energetic changes, their jobs, their movements, their loved ones, their decision-making process with some of these alignments that are already here in this calendar that you've created for them. Explain this product here and how it's really cool, and then we'll give one away also to the audience members. Meg.
Yay, I'm excited to give one away. So yeah, this is Sunny and I's creation. It's our first year doing our Cosmic Alignment Astro e-calendar. So in alignment with the natural year. So the new year being on the spring equinox. So from spring equinox of this year to 2026, 77 pages of you get me personally, no AI. Okay, so I wrote this all at the beginning of the year. I went and looked at all the transits coming up. So you get 77 pages of the calendars, written out transits for each month, my predictions and remedies for each of the astrological seasons for the whole year ahead. And interesting, if you look back, you guys, if you have the calendar and you look back at the last few months, everything that's been going on is in alignment with the astrology. So it's wild. So yeah, it's really a passion project of ours, and it's an e-calendar, not yet a physical calendar. So you can have it on a device or print it off. I have a printed version here. I always have it with me, and I can see the transits that we have happening, the written out descriptions of each of the months. And Sunny did her intuitive color healing art. So she spent a lot of time actually designing the calendar, and then I wrote out all the transits with it. So is that a
super
good?
Cool. Yeah, that's very good. I'm gonna ask Coco to put this out on a snippet and also bring it back on all social media for you guys. Okay, so Meg, speaking of that calendar, then let's pick a question here for the audience members to give this one away. What would you ask?
Okay. What
Oh,
is
when does the calendar start? What you just
the
described it?
calendar? Yeah, the calendar starts on the natural New Year spring equinox. So it's
No,
not from.
I was asking that as a question for the audience
Oh,
members.
good question.
Okay,
Oh, I gave
that's
away
okay.
the answer. Sorry.
That's okay. Do another one. Do another question.
Okay. Sorry, JC.
No.
What planet is changing signs on Monday, July 7th? What outer planet is changing signs?
Outer planet changing signs on July
Yeah.
7th. I hope you guys were paying attention. In the meantime, please do go and check out all of the cool offerings here at the scorplingshop.com. When we launched the crystal shop, you guys were inundated with orders there for a lot of crystals and your astro crystal kits as well. I have mine here from the beautiful Aries. Are you on top of the schedule now for all of the bookings and the sales that you did in the first couple of weeks? What's the queue like running right now there at the Scorpling shop, Meg?
Yes, we are. So Sunny has been working her tail off. You may see at the top of the website, it says, in alignment with divine timing, please allow up to 4 weeks. It was actually all done within 2 weeks. So everything's up to date. And yeah, so we're all up to date with the orders.
All right. And guys, if you need some crystals in your life, also go check it out, thescorplingshop.com. What's the coupon code for the calendar itself? Meg?
Oh,
Do I
yeah.
have
Coupon
that here?
code, that's going to be
Summer
summer
15?
15 to get 15% off.
Okay. So that's for the e-calendar. And generally speaking, for the crystals, is it the same coupon code or is it Beyond Mystic? How do you have it for the crystals?
Coupon code so right now there's this coupon code for the calendar, and then we have a coupon code still running for the Astro Crystal kits, which is, if I'm remembering correctly, Astro Crystal. So
Astro
you can use
Crystal.
that. Yeah.
All right, guys, check it out. Okay, so let's find a winner here for that calendar. Just let me know, Meg, when to stop the feed.
Okay. Stop.
All right, Veronica Roman, congratulations. Go to beyondmystic.net. Veronica, at the top of the page here. Oh, let me see if I can bring this up for you guys. Top of the page, you'll see the About section, tech support. Just fill out that tech support form. Let me know, and we'll get that information to Meg. We'll get that calendar out to you via email. So congratulations, Veronica. And while you guys are there on Beyond Mystic, yes, please check the schedule page here. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break here for the next 2 weeks. This was the last live show here tonight. Of course, Janine will be doing some snippet shows here as she's traveling over the next couple of weeks. She'll be doing some impromptu stuff on her phone to at least get you satiated while she also takes a well-deserved break. And of course, as promised, if there's anything crazy, Janine and I will be coming out to do some impromptu shows to keep you up to speed on everything that's happening. But for the most part, the whole team here needs a vacation and needs some time off to rejuvenate and to recharge here for what's coming up this summer and this fall. And I wish everyone on the Beyond Mystic team a really happy and fun and relaxing vacation. While you guys are there, also on the Beyond Mystic page, yes, somebody was asking me in the live chat. Where did that go? I think it was here. Comments. Somebody was asking me about, there you go. Foresight Leader. When does the IAP 50% off coupon code? I believe there's 2 days left. Coco had the 2 days left special out today. So it's probably July 1st is the last day here. We've been running it for a week and a half already. So yeah, check it out. Summer 50 is the coupon code for the Insider Access Pass. And for those of you who don't know what that is what makes it possible for all of us to be doing all of these shows, 24 shows a week here on the network. So a big thank you to all of you Insider Access Pass members who are supporting us. There you have access to all of the programming here behind the paywall, the Beyond the News, the Janine channelings, the Wu-Fi forecast, and much more. And you also have priority access to that content in the live stream to ask questions while we are recording. So fascinating community there. Please do go check it out and support us there. So Summer 50 is the coupon code. And yes, I believe there's 2 days left here for that code. And yes, you can also use this code to extend your current membership. So if you're already an IAP member, just add this to cart and it will automatically add 12 months at the end of your current term at this 50% discount. So thank you for that question. I appreciate that. And thank you everyone for supporting us there. Okay. I'm going to do this. I was going to say it differently, but really it's not differently. We need some words of wisdom. And again, going back to the coffee and chat today, the fact that we're all kind of like long in the tooth, a little bit tired. I'm not just talking about the staff, but the community here as well. We've been going this roller coaster ride of news coming out and unresolved stress for so long. And now we're being told that it's about to get worse and that we have to step up and do a better job for our community, right? And we're like, what, JC? So the words of advice on navigating all that. Let me start with you, Meg, and then we'll end with Janine on that. What would you say? Oh, Meg, you're muted on your side.
Sorry, guys. Since I just spent 4 days in the wilderness with no Wi-Fi, no cell service, no nothing, I can tell you guys that when you connect deeply to the nature and you do take some time to unplug, it is so good for you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I feel really recharged, but also connected. I could really feel being out in nature, like, okay, things are very intense, but everything is going to be okay. My words of wisdom would be connect with Mother Earth in whatever ways resonate with you. And if you'd maybe like to get a little out of your comfort zone, if you've never done this before, get out into actual wilderness. You'll feel a little weird at first because we're so used to being around frequencies all the time, but you will settle, you will relax, you will feel your nervous system calm down, and you'll feel your intuition and clarity strengthen like crazy. So yeah, that's what I would recommend.
I can't ask for more. That's great advice, Meg. Thank you so much. Janine, how do you want to handle that same question? You want to go for the cards from the heart? What do you think?
I'm actually just another little teeny story.
They love your stories. Go ahead.
So, like you guys knew that I had like a whole Mennonite team renovating this old farmhouse that I now live in.
Yeah.
Okay, when I moved in, it was quite the 80s, like never been changed since the 80s. Horrifying. Anyway, it's really cool.
To say it was a shack is a compliment.
Shack is pretty. Yeah, it was a shack.
Yeah,
and now, in my opinion, it's a mansion, but it's totally, people are still calling it a cabin. Oh, nice cabin, Janine. But I'm like, yeah, it's a mansion to me. Do you know what I mean? But it is totally woodsy, and the Mennonites did it. So they got their sort of flavor on. And anyway, I just love it. And it's cozy and comfortable, and that's what counts. It's not that big or anything, but I just absolutely love it. But I had 20 people over last night, and I got a whole, like, just a big, it was like a housewarming, and it felt like I got right out of all the news stuff, and nobody talked politics because there's a lot of normies in that group, and everyone stayed away from politics entirely and just enjoyed each other's company and recognized what we do have in common. And really just because these are people I've known, like I've known a lot of these people for 30 years, and they're absolute tribe, I call them. They're like my people. And a lot of them don't even know I do these shows. And if they did, they'd never watch them. You know what I mean? We're not talking about that. Some of them do know. But out of that 20, maybe 5 of them. And maybe 2 of them are like would actually keep track of and believe what I'm saying. Like that's hilarious, right? A few were borderline though. Anyway, it was the best healing. And I felt so renewed, refreshed, had all these beautiful people. And it was like the night after that weird experience with Dusty Bum feeling the energy and then alerting me to something weird going on around the house. Okay. And then the next day I had all of these people. It was like they cleared the energy. We just brought the love. And so connect with family, connect back with your tribe, love your people up, forgive them for not knowing all of this stuff. They'll catch up. Like I just trusted these guys are going to catch up. I love them for different reasons. They don't have to know the same things I do. But in a lot of ways, when you listen to the conversation underlying, I feel like they're all on the verge of really waking up too. They don't even know it yet. Yeah, just love up your people and have maybe some social gatherings and remind yourself what really counts in life.
We all need people. We all need loved ones. We all need that, connectiveness. And yes, to some extent, we have it here online and we have it through these communities. And it's been absolutely helpful to all of us watching the shows, delivering the shows throughout the last 5 years. But being in the presence of people, being in the presence of nature, having good food, hearing that laughter, and having a glass of wine, maybe also with that. Very important, those human connections, and maybe now more than ever. So, guys, big thank you for joining us tonight on this special show. It was supposed to be a pay-per-view show, but Janine and I decided to make it available for everyone here on Rumble. Thank you for joining us this evening here on this Monday night. Thank you to you, Meg and Janine, for all of your time here tonight. And I wish you all of the best here in the next couple of days in terms of relaxing, fun, and rejuvenating little vacation. I wish you all the best, guys. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching tonight. Let us know how we did. If you like the show, leave us a comment and hit that like button. Apparently, it's not working. People are hitting it. It's not working. So hit that like button at the end there on the live chat and leave us a comment. And we'll see you again soon. Don't you worry. I love you guys. Have a great evening and take care. Au revoir.
Au revoir.